See, all the four Vedas, they are themselves considered to be a compendium of all knowledge. That's called the four Vedas. That we study. Then comes history and mythology, Itihasa Puranam, which is the fifth Veda, Panchama Veda. Then grammar. Without grammar, you can't understand these things. The grammar. Then rites for the mains, Pitru, Shraddham and other things. Mathematics, very important subject. The word used here for mathematics is Rashim. Pitriyam, Rashim. Devam and Nidhim. Devam. Natural calamities, that subject. How to handle earthquake, cyclone, all these are natural calamities, not man-made. Therefore it is called Devam, which happens naturally. How to handle these subjects, I know that. Then comes mineralogy. How mine, gold mine, silver mine, and coal mine, all this right here and there. We know how to locate and do mining. That study he has finished. Then comes logic, Nyaya. Ethics, similarly, etymology, subject of auxiliary knowledge concerning the Vedas. Science of the elements, Bhota Vidya, mostly physics it comes to. Then science of archery, military science. Astronomy and astrology, both. That is Nakshatra Vidya. Then science of the serpents, Sarpa Vidya. If you go to Kerala, you can see people who know all about these serpents. What are with poison, without poison, how to handle them, and they know how to catch them. And they worship also the serpent, Sarpa Vidya. Then the fine arts, that is painting, sculpture, dance, all these are fine arts. Now, I know all these. Oh, Venerable Sir, Narada said, any student today can answer like this. I know all this. Either some of them, all of them, or even some more of them. Today's knowledge is vast. So all this, you can go on, passing examination after examination, gathering all the knowledge available. And yet, now comes the real problem. Soham Bhagavo Mantravedevasmi na Atmavit. Narada says, I know all this, but all this has made me a mantravid, not Atmavit. I know the words, I don't know the self. That is the language. Mantravidevasmi na Atmavit. I merely know the text of the books, their meanings. I don't know the self, Atmavit. Shrudam heva me Bhagavad Rishebhya tarate shokam Atmavit iti. I have heard from great teachers like you that only the knower of the Atman can cross the ocean of tension and sorrow and attain real peace. None of this knowledge can give you that peace, but the knowledge of the Atman can give you that peace. This I have heard from great teachers like you. Say today's quest in the Western world, I want to know that self that is behind us, our own true nature, our own true dimension. I know all these things, but I have heard from people that that knowledge is most important. Spirituality, spiritual knowledge. And so they practice meditation. They study this book and that book, go to this teacher and that teacher. You can see it actually happening in this 20th century. Tarate shokam Atmavit iti. Atmavit, knower the Atman. Tarati, crosses, shokam, sorrow. This I have heard. Soham Bhagava Shochami. I am now in deep sorrow, O Master. Though I have learned all this, it has not removed my emptiness within, a feeling of emptiness within. I have got so many things, but something is missing, and that missing thing is the most important thing. That's what I have come here for. Soham Bhagava Shochabi Tamma Bhagavan Shogasya Param Charayatu Iti. Please take me across this ocean of sorrow, O great one, said Narada to Sanat Kumara. Tamho Vacha. Sanat Kumara heard everything and gently said, Yadvai kinja edat adhyagishta namaiva tat. But all you have studied so far, it is mere name, mere words. You have only studied the words. You have to study the meaning of words. Not meaning of words that the schoolmaster gives to students. Not that kind of meaning. That's called word meaning. Meaning behind the word, behind speech. What is that profound truth? That we must know. We all get meaning of words in the school. When I was in the first form, that is 5th class, we had a new schoolmaster. He has just finished his BA and got appointed, came to our school and became our class teacher. And a very frank type of person. The first day he came, boys, I have come newly from the college. I don't know how to teach. Teach me how to teach, then I will teach you. Very honestly he said. How was the previous teacher taking the English lesson? Then we told, sir, he used to read the lesson, and if there are difficult words, he will explain, give us the meaning, and then ask us also a question. In this way he used to do. Okay, I shall also do. What is the subject today? Dog in the shadow, there is a lesson. So, the lesson begins. There was a brook. Brook. What is the meaning? Brook, sir? Write down. A natural body of flowing water less than a river. They wrote it down. They noted down. Then, there was a plank over the brook. Plank. What is plank, sir? A broad piece of sawed timber. Write down. So the whole lesson was full of that kind of explanation. All the meanings were very clear. In fact, if I speak good English, I must give attribute to him. He started English very well, grammar as well as English. So that is called meaning. But here it's not that meaning that is meant. The meaning of meaning is another wonderful subject. There is a book in English. Title is Meaning of Meaning. Subject on logic. So the meaning of meaning is a new subject in modern logic. So here we are coming to the same subject. All these are words. Where is the inner spirit of all this? So namaivatat. All that is nama, name. The word nama and name come from the same Sanskrit. They are common, nama and name. So he says, namaivatat. Then he said, namava rigvedo. Each one it is. Rigveda is mere name. Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana, history, mythology, logic, etymology, all this is but name. That's all. Nothing but name. Meditate on this name. This Shabda. Watch, walk. Meditate on it. You will say, Brahman, it is like people worshipping an image with the idea that it is Vishnu. Actually, the stone is not Vishnu, but we treat it as Vishnu and worship it. So treat all this, what you know, as Brahman. Meditate upon this name as Brahman. Now comes the education of Narada from this world of multiplicity, of which he is a master, to that unity, that Tattvamasi teaching, step by step. The teacher is taking Narada. He began with name itself, Namaivatat. Meditate on Nama as Brahman, as that ultimate reality. He goes on. Then after some time, something higher than Nama. We shall go towards that. The teacher will say. So he goes on. Nama. Then Vak is superior to Nama. Name. Vak is speech. Through speech only you can utter name. So speech is higher than Nama. Therefore meditate upon Vak. or speech. Speech is verily greater than name. It is speech indeed that makes known the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, etc., etc. So speech is higher. In this way, within this human experience, whatever experiences we have, he picks up one after the other, one more subtle than the other. In this way, a gradual education of Narada from the external to the internal, and the gross to the subtle, is being undertaken by Sanat Kumara in this chapter. Then, is there anything greater than speech? Narada is asking at every step, this is great. Is there anything greater than speech? He says, yes, certainly. Mano vava vacho bhoyo, mind is superior to speech. That's what he says. Mind indeed is greater than speech. As a fist feels two amalakas or two plums, and you take in the hand two amalakas or two plums, or two akshas. Aksha is something like one of the Triphala items. Triphala has three medicines, of which one of them is called aksha. Yes. Similarly, the mind perceives speech and name, both. Mind comprehends speech and name. When anyone thinks with the mind, let me chant the mantras, then he chants. Mind is indeed the self. Mind is indeed the world. Mind is indeed Brahman. Meditate on the mind. That is the next step that is given. Then, after some time he says, mind is enjoyership. When the mind is there, agent, I am the agent of this work. I enjoy this. All this you can do only when the mind is there. Mind is comprehensive of all these experiences. Mind is indeed the self. Mind is indeed the world. Since the mind is not there, the world also is not there. You cannot ever certify that there is a world unless the mind is there. Since the mind is the world, therefore mind is this Manahi Brahma. Mind is Brahman. Since it is so, Mana Upasva. Meditate on the mind, step by step. Then, is there anything higher than the mind? He asked. Sankalpa va manaso hoya. Will is far superior to the manas. First will, then only the manas begins to function. The will is a higher evolute of the psychic energy. Will indeed is greater than the mind. When anyone wills, then he thinks, then he utters speech, then he impels them in the form of names. The mantras become united in names, and the rites and the mantras. So Sankalpa, will, is much higher than simple manas. In fact, in character development, the mind must evolve into the will. Character is centered in the will. Where there is will only, there is high character. But that will must be centered in society, in the human situation around you. So a socially oriented will is character. So if that will is there, but social orientation is not there, that will becomes a dangerous will. A Rakshasa's will, but a will oriented to society is high class, high character. Therefore, Sankalpa is very important psychical phenomenon. When we Sankalpa is greater than Manas, like intention, that is will, determination, after considering whether a thing is to be done or not to be done, also is a function of the internal organ, antakarana. Internal organ is called antakarana. External organs are 5, eye, ear, nose, etc. They are called bahishkarana. Bahishkarana, antakarana. These 2 karanas, instruments, Vedanta discovered, these are external, that is internal. So, mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta, all the 4 are internal organ, antakarana. Manas, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. All these are internal organ. In the buddhi will come this sankalpa also. The concept of will comes. When a subject is determined, after discrimination, then follows the thought in the form of the intention to perform it. Therefore, sankalpa is higher. Is there anything higher than Sankalpa? Sankalpa is explained further and further how it can be utilized. On will as Brahman. Meditate on will as Brahman. Meditate on that stone in the temple as Vishnu. You say like that, we do it. Similarly, meditate on the sun as Brahman. These are various symbols for the Absolute. The Absolute itself is not visible. So we take a visible symbol. That is what you call pratima or pratika in Sanskrit. That which cannot be expressed through speech and thought. We just provide a pratika or a pratima to represent that thing. The human mind itself, even speech itself is like that. Speech itself is based on symbols. When you write, it is all symbols that you write. Man is a user of symbols. So for the ultimate reality, we use symbols. All these various symbols of religion. We can see in various religions, Hindu religion has plenty of them. So he is telling here, use this as a symbol of Brahman. Then he says, "O Venerable Sir, is there anything greater than will?" Again the question of Narada. There is surely something greater than will. May the Venerable Sir tell me that, tells Narada. Then he says, yes, Chittam, Bhava Sankalpad Bhuyo. Chitta, intelligence, is greater than will. With intelligence only, other things can function. So Chitta, in here it stands Chit, intelligence. When one understands, then he wills, then he thinks, then he impels the organs of speech, impels that speech to utter name. Therefore, Chitta is among all this. Meditate on that as Brahman. These things that are such have intelligence alone as their goal. All these what I told just now, their goal is intelligence. And they come from intelligence and they remain established in intelligence, Chitta. Therefore, if a man, even though learned in many subjects, be unintelligent, then they speak of him thus, this one has verily ceased to exist. If this person knew, or if he were learned, he would not have become unintelligent like this. If a man of little learning possesses intelligence, then they desire to hear him. Learning is less, but intelligence is high. Meditate on intelligence, says Sanat Kumara. Then goes further. He who meditates on intelligence as Brahman attains worlds that are attainable by intelligence. Freedom. He gets freedom of movement as far as the range of intelligence goes. He can control all those areas which can be handled by intelligence. Is there anything greater than intelligence? Chittam. There is surely something greater. Please tell me that. Then, Dhyanam. Dhyanam vava. Vijnanat chittat bhuyo. Dhyana is meditation. Meditation is indeed greater than intelligence. The earth is, now comes a very poetic passage here. Dhyayativa, the Prithvi, Dhyayativa, Antariksham. As if the earth is in meditation, the sky is in meditation. You feel as if the whole world is sitting in meditation. And sometimes we get that experience. So, Dhyayativa Prithvi, Dhyayativa Antariksham, Dhyayativa Dhyaur, Dhyayativa Apo, Dhyayantiva Parvata, Dhyayantiva Deva Manushya, etc., etc. This experience comes to us. It's like a poetic experience. The earth is meditating as it were, not that actually meditating, as it were. Everything is silent, everything is quiet. You can see even the tree, when there is no wind, absolutely quiet. Tree is in meditation. That feeling will come. It's a poetic view of the world around. The intermediate space is meditating as it were. Heaven is meditating as it were. Waters are meditating. Mountains are meditating. Gods and human beings are meditating. They're jealous. They're here. They're interesting. They verily appear to have acquired a portion of the result of meditation. This wonderful concept of meditation. The whole nature is in meditation. Then again, those who are small and quarrelsome, jealous and slanderous, such people, on the other hand, Those who have influence over others, they appear to have acquired a portion of the result of meditation. Meditate on meditation. Therefore, dhyanam is meditation. Then comes the next, is there anything higher? Yes, certainly. Vijnanam is higher than meditation. Dhyanat bhuyo, understanding is vijnanam, is indeed greater than meditation. Through understanding one verily knows Rigveda, etc., etc. So meditate on vijnana, understanding, meaning of scriptures. Vava. Sayo, he who meditates on understanding as Brahman, he meditates on understanding. Surely when the words possessed of understanding and knowledge. Is there anything greater than vijnana? Yes, there is. Here, as a result of the meditation, says, Balam vava vijnanat bhuyopi. Strength is surely greater than understanding. One strong man causes to tremble even 100 people with understanding. That is also true. When one becomes strong, he then rises up. Rising up, he serves. Serving, he sits near. Sitting near, he becomes an observer, a hearer, a thinker, a knower, a doer, and a man of understanding. It is through strength, indeed, that the earth stands. Through the strength, the intermediate space stands. Through strength, heaven stands. Through strength, mountains stand. Through strength, gods and human beings stand. Through strength, animals also stand. The world stands through strength. Meditate on strength. What is the concept of strength? Meditate upon it. Try to understand it. He who meditates on strength as Brahman, he who meditates on strength gets freedom of movement as far as the range of strength extends. Is there anything greater than strength? Yes, he says, there is. The word balam is used for strength. Balam. Annam mava. Balad bhuyam. Bhuya. Food is superior to balam, greater than strength. Should a man not eat for 10 nights, then if he happens to live, he becomes unable to hear, to see, to reflect, to know, perform, understand. Then on receiving food, he becomes able to see, hear, reflect, know, perform, understand, meditate. Therefore on food. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it begins with food there. Annamaya kosha. That is Brahman as Anna. And the general definition of Brahman is given and it applies to Anna. And so meditate on Anna as Brahman. What is the general definition? Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti apisambhishanti tat vijijñāsa tat brahmeti. That from which these beings are born, that by which they subsist, that unto which they return, know that as Brahman. Realize that truth. That general definition applies to food. We come from food, we live by food, we return back to food once again. Therefore, Anna is Brahman, the Taittiriya. Then, further question, a little deeper, prana, energy within, is much more subtle than Anna. That way the Panchakosha is described here. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya Kosha. 5 koshas are described there, one interior to the other, more subtle, more pervasive. Ultimately, you reach Brahman. After the 5 koshas over, you get the sword. The sword is put in kosha. Kosha is like a sheath. That sheath, 5 sheaths, one inside the other. So you take all the 5 sheaths, then you get the sword. That sword is Brahman. So that is how from Anna you reach Brahman in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Anna is recognized. Matter. Today it is translated as matter. Food as matter. So, when you eat, then only you get the strength for everything else. So, he who meditates on food as Brahman attains the worlds. Then, what else is there beyond this? There is. What is that? Apova annat bhuya. Water is superior to food. Coming here. These are all based upon our concept of the various elements that compose nature. So here, Anna comes as bhutastu, now comes water, air, all these are mentioned there. Water indeed is greater. When there is lack of abundant rainfall, creatures are in agony. Food will be scarce, we think we are in trouble. Again, when there is abundance of rainfall, creatures become joyous, thinking food will be plentiful this year. Our government of India also says the same thing. Another 20 million tons we shall get if there is a good rainfall. Like that. In the Chandogya Upanishad, there's a beautiful sloka in praise of prana. Prana which causes rainfall. Say, Yadatvam apivarshasi athema pranate prajaha anandarupa tishtanti kamaya annam bhavishyati iti. O prana, when through you we get abundant rainfall, then all these your children in this world, they dance in joy. This year we shall have plenty of food to eat. If you don't exercise your power to create rain, we are all in trouble. There will be sorrow, there will be famine, etc. It's called prana stuti in the Chandogya Upanishad. So food will be scarce. When there is abundance, rainfall, creatures become joyous. So if that is so, is there, meditate on water, he said. Is there anything higher than water? Yeah, again question. Bhuyo piti tanme bhagavan bhavititi. Teja is higher than water. That is fire. Teja is fire. Fire indeed is greater than water. That indeed which is such heats up the intermediate space by taking up air as its support. Then people say it is heating up, it is burning, it will surely rain. It is verily that fire which, having revealed itself earlier, creates water in the form of roars of thunder. That fire which is such travels along with lightning, flashes that shoot upward zigzag. Therefore they say, lightning is flashing, it is roaring, it will surely rain. It is verily fire which, having first revealed itself, creates water. Meditate on fire. In this way, it goes on, step by step. Then, again the question asked, is there anything higher than fire? Akasha is higher than fire. Space, indeed, greater than fire. Both the sun and the moon, lightning, stars and fire exist in space. One calls through space, hears the call through space, hears the words of another through space, sports in space, does not rejoice in space, takes birth in space, grows towards space, meditate on space. Space is extremely subtle. We come to that now. Remember that as Brahman, because everything is done in space. The Akasha, Bhuyat. Air is not spoken of here separately from fire. In the world, a cause is seen to be greater than its effect. Cause is greater than the effect. Earth is greater than pots. The clay is greater than the pots, which are the products of the clay. So, similarly here, Akasha. Moreover, he who meditates on space as Brahman, often it is given in the Upanishads, meditate on space as Brahman. There are many things common. First of all, space is indivisible. Brahman also indivisible. Space can never be made impure. So also, Brahman can never be made impure. Just like you put in a pot toddy. Toddy makes it impure according to our conception. But space in the pot is never made impure. It is always the same. So, space has got a very high status in our thinking. Akasha. Akasham vai Brahma. Meditate on Brahman as Akasha, which has no limit, unlimited. The nearest approach to Brahman is Akasha in Vedantic thinking. Today's concept of space is the same. Space-time continuum. You can add together, it is something extraordinary. But the highest reality today, everything is only a configuration of space-time continuum. They have no existence other than space-time. That is Einstein's special kind of development of thought. So, he meditates on Akasha, the Brahman is full of. There is something other than space, greater than space? Yes, there is. There is one. Memory is indeed greater than space. Comes smara is the word memory. Therefore, even if many people who do not have memory sit together, surely they will not hear, think of, and know anyone. Should they indeed have memory, then they would hear, think. Through memory indeed, one recognizes one's son. Through memory, the animals meditate on memory. Smriti is put here. Similarly, again, further question, beyond memory. Asha vai is superior to memory. Hope is indeed greater than memory. Enthused by hope, memory recites mantras, performs the rites, wishes for sons and animals, wishes for this world and the other world. Meditate on hope. That is one simple psychological experience. Then, what is beyond hope comes prana vai. We come to prana. Vital force, surely greater than hope. As spokes are inserted in a hub, similarly are all things inserted in this vital force. When you make a wheel for the cart, all the spokes are inserted in the hub there. Prana is the hub of the whole world. Everything is inserted there. So prana is the vital force, the hub of the universe. Vital force moves with the help of the vital force. Vital force imparts vital force to the vital force. The vital force indeed is the father. Vital force is the mother, is the brother. The vital force sister. It is the teacher. It is Brahman. The greatest praise is given to prana, that tremendous energy that activates the whole universe, either the external universe or the internal universe, the human body. Everywhere, prana is a tremendous reality. So Shankara comments by saying, beginning with name and ending with hope, all things that are arranged successively is greater and greater from the point of view of cause and effect and source and product, which have their existence due to memory, held together by the rope of hope, just as a stem of a lotus is by the fibers. They are in every way inserted in the vital force. And by that vital force, which pervades everything internally and externally, which is like a string, all things are strung and held together like gems in a string. That vital force, which is such, is surely Ashaya Bhuyan, greater than hope, greater than hope. How does it have that greatness? This is being answered with the help of an illustration by way of confirming that greatness in the world, as indeed the spokes of the wheel of a chariot are inserted, that is fixed, Mahabhav, in the hub of the wheel of the chariot. Similarly, it says, on this chief vital force in the body, on the conscious self, which is of the nature of aggregate of the subtle body, into which Supreme Deity has entered, into this human system, Brahman has entered at the time of creation, like an individual soul, like the reflection in a mirror for manifesting names and forms. That is how the vital force becomes very important in this connection. Chandogya, earlier we saw, Pranam vai Brahma, Brahman is Prana, or Prana is Brahman. Kam Brahma comes later. Brahman is Ka, Brahman is Ka. What does this mean, sir? Student asked, what is this Ka and Ka? Prana vai Brahma, I could understand. I can't understand. Kam Brahma. Then the teacher explained. Kam means Akasha, space. Kam means happiness. It is a living conscious entity we are dealing with, not a dead entity like Akasha. And so Brahman is Akasha life, but also full of consciousness. That's the nature of Brahman. That is expressed in that very, very brief utterance. Prana vai Brahma, Kam Brahma, like that. Well, Tao Physics, Capra, he quotes this passage with great approval. Very wonderful way of putting it. Prana vai Brahma, Kam Brahma. Therefore it says, illustration is like that, entered in the form of the individual soul. Then he says, next sloka, if anyone indeed should use any word that appears improper to his father or mother or brother or sister or teacher or to a Brahmana, to him they say, fie on you, you are indeed a killer of your father, patricide. You are indeed a matricide, killer of your mother. You are indeed a fratricide. You are indeed a murderer of your teacher. This is how we say. How does that occur? He says, if you should burn them after the departure of their lives by heaping and separating their limbs with a spear, they will surely not say to him, you are a patricide. So long as they are alive, prana is there. If you do harm, you will be called a patricide. If prana is not there, you burn the body limb by limb, nobody will say you are a patricide, etc. Therefore, the prana is very high. Then, the vital force indeed becomes all this. The whole universe is an expression of prana. I say, anyone who is such, seeing thus, reflecting thus, knowing thus, transcends all in his speech. Should anyone say to him, you are transcending the limits in your speech, he should say, yes, I am transcending. He did not hide it, because he has gone to speech, the prana which is superior to speech, vital force, like that. Now, it comes to the highest level of the investigation. In this case, this one indeed transcends in speech, who transcends by virtue of realization of truth. Eshatava ati vadati ya satyena adivadati. Those who speak the truth, they transcends everybody's speech. Oh, Venerable Sir, I want to transcend in speech by virtue of realization of truth, Narada said. Truth indeed has to be sought for realization. Venerable Sir, I seek for the realization of truth, Narada said. Narada, who was such, Shankara comments, having heard of that vital force which transcends everything and which is the self of all, to be identified with his own self, stopped by thinking that there is nothing beyond this, so that he did not ask as he had done before, O Venerable Sir, does anything exist which is greater than the vital force? He did not ask. Having found him, that is Narada, satisfied by knowing in this way, this Brahman, which is an unreal transformation, this prana is an unreal transformation of Brahman, and thus not the highest success, but yet thinking of himself as capable of transcending in speech by virtue of realization of the highest truth, the Venerable Sanat Kumara said to his competent disciple, by drawing him away from that particular false notion, now comes the highest teaching. These are all external. These cannot be said to be the self. These are not self, subtle, still more subtle, the highest level it has gone. And yet, it is not the self. So, but this one indeed, of whom I shall speak, transcends in speech. In reality, the knower, the vital force, does not transcend in speech. His transcendence in speech is in relation to names only. But he is the truth beyond all things. He himself is the truth beyond all things and called the infinite. Hence, he says, Etavai ativadati. This one indeed transcends in speech, who transcends through truth by virtue of the realization of the highest truth. Bhagava, O Venerable Sir, such as I am, who have taken refuge in you, I want to transcend in speech by virtue of realization of truth. May the Venerable Teacher direct me in such a way that I may be able to transcend in speech by virtue of realization of truth. That is the intention. If you want to transcend in speech in this way, then satyam tu eva, truth itself, vijijñāsitavyam, should be sought for realization. Now seek for truth itself. Tell the teacher to Narada. Having been told so, Narada said, let it be so. In that case, O Venerable Sir, from you, satyam vijijñāse, I seek for the realization of truth, to know it fully. We come to the real spirit of Vedanta at this stage. Till now it was all speculative, dealing with not self objects of the world, gross, subtle, still more subtle, etc., including space. Space also is not the Atman, but it is nearest to the Atman. You can use it as a symbol. A symbol is not the same thing as the thing itself. Therefore, now Narada comes to that point. Give up all these symbols. Let us find out truth itself. Yet Sanat Kumara says, yes, I shall take you to that step. That is the section 17 of chapter 7. We shall take up this next Sunday. The most important and some of the most glorious utterances you get in this part. And it ends in a tremendous utterance that this Sanat Kumara takes Narada across the ocean of darkness and delusion to the light of truth. That is the language by which the 7th chapter ends. We shall take it up next Sunday as usual. You were studying the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, where a student by name Narada went to a great spiritual teacher by name Sanat Kumara. And we saw the beginning itself, Narada telling, I know much, I have studied much, but I have no peace of mind. I have heard from great people like you that peace of mind can come only when you know your own true nature as the infinite self. So take me across this ocean of sorrow, O Master. From that time, the teacher said, what all you have studied so far are mere name, mere words, nothing else. Namaiva tat. From that point onwards, we have been seeing, wherein the last 2 Sundays, Sanat Kumara educating Narada in the knowledge of the Atman through various stages, from Nama Iva Tat, that is the beginning, up to Prana, we have come so far. In between, so many items are taken. This is the truth, this is the truth. After some time, no, there is something still higher, still higher, still higher. In this way, the training has been going on until we came to Prana. Everything depends upon Prana. We have to continue further. This teaching, which is very, as Shankara has shown here, from gross to subtle, subtle to still more subtle. All that we have seen so far is of this nature. And throughout Vedanta, that is the investigation. That is the investigation in science itself. The gross is the external aspect. Go deeper, subtle aspects come in. The capacity to penetrate into the heart of a thing is what gives you knowledge of the subtle reality behind the gross reality. The senses can see only the gross aspect of things, but the mind can go deeper. Though based upon the senses, based upon the data of the senses, the mind can go deeper and see that is truth there. Just like no sensory system can tell you the earth is round. Senses tell you earth is flat. It's not round at all. But mind can see deeper, more subtle truth. So much of the scientific knowledge is based upon this particular development that you find described here. From gross to subtle, still more subtle, we are coming to the subtlest, the infinite. That will be today's program of study. It is like when you climb the Himalayas, you just see one hill in front of you. You thought that is the highest Himalayas. You climb that hill, then another hill shows itself up. Then you climb that. This is the last. No, then another hill.